welcome. On the show this week, British eventer Piggy French will be here to tell us about her ride at Burghley, where she finished runner-up, and being back on the British squad after taking a break to start a family. Our thanks to our show sponsor this week, EquestrianCollections.com, where you'll find all the familiar styles of leading brands in their fall and winter collections, including apparel, footwear and equipment. There's also a clearance sale on Ariat and Horse products with 60 to 70% savings, and there's some really cute riding jackets too for kids. That's all at EquestrianCollections.com. Piggy French has been a popular figure in British eventing since her junior and young rider days, when she was a member of the British team for the European Championships that won the gold medal in 2001. She also claimed the individual silver at the 2009 Europeans, riding Someday Soon, and a year later rode Jakarta at the World Equestrian Games, where the pair finished 14th. The partnership went on to finish 9th at the 2011 Europeans, where Piggy also won her first senior team medal, taking the bronze. After a break to start a family, Piggy is back on the British team and competed at this year's European Championships with Quarry Crest Echo, and a week later finished second at the Land Rover Burghley Horse Trials with Veneer Chimera. Congratulations. I mean, second place at Burghley, a career highlight?
Oh, absolutely, and it's just really very exciting for that horse and for me. Especially, I took a whole year off last year competing, and it's just great to have come back, and I'm just very grateful for my supporters and owners and sponsors, everyone that stayed with me through the time out, that we've all had a bit of success this year makes it all much more worthwhile.
Well, you've been in the game quite a while now, Piggy, but do you feel like that you're the comeback kid just by having a year or so off to have a baby?
I don't know really. It's just I had a few successful years, and then I lost my top horses through injuries, and it just can take a while to get all that back, get the next lot coming through, owners, to support you, and having the year off last year, having a baby break as it was very good for me mentally. And it was just great to come back into it this year, feeling afresh, and with no pressure. I suppose I was sort of forgotten about, and I just wanted to come back into it and just really enjoy it and see where it took me. But it's been great fun.
Well, you often hear of women taking time off in their careers to have a baby, and with riders particularly, sometimes it can just affect the way you come back to the sport. You have a different sense of self-preservation, Piggy. You talked about the mental aspect as well, too. Just to unpack that a little bit for me, and how you feel, if you do feel differently now that you're responsible for little Max.
I've been very lucky because I don't feel any different at all. I certainly didn't lose my nerve, or I was just very excited to get back into the saddle, which I'm lucky because it can affect some people. And I'm very lucky my other half, Tom, looks after Max for me all the time while I'm training. So I can just get on with my training and be very focused and not worry if Max is happy, or, I've got a time scale and all that sort of thing. So I've been very lucky, and it's worked very well so far.
Well, you certainly came back with a surge, because you've got two horses at the very top level, of course, Quarry Crest Echoes, who went to Stockholm to the European Championships with you. Let's talk about how you built your team again. You said, you obviously relied on sponsors and owners' loyalty whilst you were absent from the sport at that level. How did you find the horses? How did you bring them back up to that level, Piggy, and to the point where you obviously got selected to represent the GB again?
Well, Quarry Crest Echo was a horse that I was selected on for the Europeans this year. He is a 10-year-old now. Last year he was obviously 9. He hadn't really started at advanced level, and I just chatted with my owner, and we decided that the rider for him would be Tina Cook, who would just get him started at advanced level. And he was actually on the market last year as well as, if anyone wanted to buy him, he was he was there to be brought. As you know, it's always a business, this game as well, to lots of us. And as it happened, he didn't sail, but he got going at advanced level. And so this year I just got going with him with the high hopes that, I was hoping he would be a good 3-star performer. And he, exceeded all expectations and stepped up to 3-star very well and very competitively as well. So that was just, coincidence that the horse was at the right age for us to give him to another rider to help us bring him on, and the horse come back to me at the end of that time off, which I'm forever grateful to, the owners that have become great friends, but also still believe in me to keep going with the horses. And it was just a very pleasant surprise that he stepped up to the game, as good as we had expected, and became very successful. And I think he would have come on a lot from the Europeans to step up again, hopefully for next year, but you don't really know.
You never know the future, do you? Of course, but you had been quoted as saying that, 6 months ago you wouldn't have believed that you've got there. And so what did that competition tell you about that horse now, and what you think he might be able to offer you in the future?
Well, he performed very well out in Poland, but it was a week that was very nearly but not quite for us personally. The Brits did great and they won gold, as you know, but with him he felt like he was a young horse at the end of a busy year. He had done 2 abroad trips of going to Aachen 5 weeks before the Europeans, which was his biggest run to date, and he ran fantastic. To come back, get selected and up his game again to go to the Europeans and have a very long journey. And he's still physically quite a weak horse. He's 10 years old, but he's not done a lot in his life, and he's still maturing quite a lot physically. And I just felt he felt like it was the end of quite a busy year for him. The weather was very hot, and he was just a little bit flatter than he had been every other stage this year. But having said that, there's loads of positives to take from the week, and I know he would have come out of it, mentally he did enjoy himself. Physically, he's come out of it very well. He got home and looks fantastic and feels very, fit and well. And I know with the rest, I really hope that he will then come out, a man next year. He's been a little fish in a big pond this year, and he has been stepping up, and I just think he would have matured quite a lot from what he's done, and I really hope he'll be up a step again next year.
So he doesn't have a for sale tag on him then?
No, he doesn't anymore. I think, well, all of mine do normally, but I think the owners, we've had such fun with him this year, and you never say never, and I know how the world goes round, and it does have to be a business to us. Not all of us have bottomless pits and all the rest of it, so you never know. But I'm always very open with my owners and things. I understand how it works, and if offers come along, they have to be considered. But he's a lovely horse, and we're going to really enjoy him while we can.
Well, let's talk about Burghley then, the Land Rover Burghley Horse Trials, where you finished second on Veneer Chimera. It's an event I think was one of the favourites for most riders. Does it still send goosebumps, Piggy, down your spine when you drive into Burghley as often as you go?
Absolutely. It is just an incredible event. I think it's just one of the best in the world. The venue is unbelievable. The atmosphere is fantastic. It's just amazing to be a part of Burghley. And I've been quite a few times and never managed the top 10. So that's definitely on my tick list to try and do. So to be second this year was really very exciting.
It certainly put the pressure on Ollie Town then, of course, when it came down to it. But let's talk about your expectations. When you were pulling through those gates into the stable area there at Burghley this year, what were your realistic expectations of his performance at Burghley?
I didn't really have any, to be honest. I just wanted to go there and build bridges with the horse, to be honest. I've had her for a year. She's only run once since Bramham, and to be honest, I got to the event not thinking she was in that good form. You know, she just felt quite a bit flat at home, and it's just been sort of, she's a funny little mare that is quite hot and cold, and just didn't feel like she was on really great form, but she was well. She looked great. Her coat looked great, and you know, all the signs were good enough to go. But I don't know her that well. She has done Burghley before once with Paul Tapner, so it's always nice to know that you've got a horse that has been somewhere like that and done that sort of trip and jumped those sort of fences. So in the back of your mind, you're confident that she's capable of it. But I was just going to take each phase as it came, every day as it came, to just try and do our best. And I was just really interested mainly to see what sort of horse I had and to see whether she got there and she felt that she was on form. Because just a few days before we left, I thought she was quite quiet.
How long have you been in the tack then, Piggy, and how did you get the ride?
I actually rode Veneer Chimera as a 6 or 7 year old. I can't actually remember how old she was, but I started her eventing career and just did some hundreds and novice level and had to give up the ride as the yard that I was at was building, so I lost half my stables. So she was one that had to go, and to be honest, she was always a very brave young horse, but she was very weak in all phases, for the flat work and for the jumping. And so she left me and went to Izzy Taylor the following year, who had her for a season and got her from novice to advanced level, I think, in a year. And then she spent the next 3 years with Paul Tapner after that, and she got to 4-star. And the owner kept ringing me after Izzy and other times to say, would I be able to take the horse back? And as it happened, I couldn't at the time. And then when Paul sort of half retired at the end of last year and was downsizing, Trevor Dickens, who owns him, rang me again to say, would you have her again? And I was like, gosh, you can't turn 4-star horses down. I said, Trevor, I'll try her in the winter and see how I get on. And so the rest is history, really. But it's taken quite a while to build a relationship. She's gone well, but she's a funny little mare. She's everything that's tricky in a mare and everything you love in a mare, all put into one. She's quite high maintenance in most things, but she's really brave, and she always gives the feeling that she'd actually die for you to get between the flags on the cross country and keep running. And you know, that's what sort of 4-star horses and great horses all need, and she's definitely got that. She's got a heart of a little lion.
Well, she certainly showed her bravery over that track. What were your impressions of that track now, with the benefit of hindsight, Piggy? Did it live up to the kind of ride you were expecting?
I thought she actually exceeded my expectations, to be honest, because at home or jumping at home or doing smaller one-day events and things, she doesn't always feel the scopiest. And getting to a big 4-star like that, she just lifted her game double than what I ever thought she could do, and actually made it feel quite easy and really gave a pingy feel to her jumps, and I was just very, very impressed with her, and she ran all the way to the end like she would have kept going for another few minutes, and I was just really impressed with her whole attitude to the whole thing and the feel she gave. So I actually really enjoyed my ride, and I thought it was a fantastic course. I thought it was big, very big, but it was all very fair. There were lines there that the horses could see, and you know, ridden properly, it was fair, I thought. And if everything went to plan A or plan B and you were still together, it gave the horses every chance to see what was going on. But we all also need a lot of luck along the way as well, and I had luck that week. Was there a favourite
jump or sequence of jumps on the course, Piggy, when you look back, and you know, do you have that feeling of, wow, that was just extra special?
There wasn't a particular jump, but I just kept thinking, good girl, the whole way round, and there wasn't a moment that I thought, oh crumbs, that was terrible, but never mind. Thank you. It just all went really smoothly.
It really did look like it was seamless for you and a super, super ride. And obviously given you a lot of confidence going into the show jumping, and she didn't put a foot wrong.
No, she didn't. And I haven't jumped many clears with her, and you never know how they'll come out when they've just done that the day before. So again, I didn't really feel the pressure. I was just going to, do the best we could. And like I said, if I was fifth or near there and didn't completely disgrace ourselves, then I would have been really happy with how she'd gone. But as it happened, she did leave the poles up, and it was such an exciting feeling, and I punched the air like I'd actually won it and did my own little lap of honour, because I was so excited that the little horse had just gone so well. I was so proud of her. It was just a real moment for me that I was just so proud of her. I thought she'd just been great all week.
Yeah, it clearly was a thrill for you, and it was wonderful to share in your, obviously, celebration, as you say, when you did go clear, and to have that kind of result, and the kind of, the support you got too, Piggy. I mean, there was tremendous support for that ride, and your performance there, and coming back to 4-star level. I mean, that must mean a lot to you in your career.
Oh, absolutely. Without doubt, it does mean so very much, and I am grateful for all those that have stuck with me, my team especially, all my grooms and everything that stuck with me for the year that I had the time off, and have just been very loyal and put so much work in behind the scenes to try and get me, back eventing and enjoying it and doing as well as we possibly can. And I owe a lot of people, the ones very close to me, the success that I've had this year.
Well, let's talk about the future and the other rides that you have, Piggy. What else is in your stable?
We have all sorts, really, because I always have quite a few working pupils here. So we usually have a pretty full yard, up to about 30 horses, and I would have about 12 to 15 to compete myself, which I think is a great number now, being a mum as well. And but I've got a little horse called Jump Jet, who is an 8-year-old horse, and he's just at 2-star level that I think a lot of, and next year will be an exciting year for him because he'll step up to 3-star and advanced levels, so it will be interesting to see what he becomes. I've got a lovely horse for Jennifer Saunders as well called Coolie Monsoon, he'll be going up to 2-star. He's had a lot of success this year, which is great for her because it's fantastic having her involved in the sport and part of my team as well, which is really exciting. And plenty of young ones all about that we sort of bring on and see how far they'll get, with the view we sell as well, because it's all got to be a business, and it's finding that balance of competing at the top level and producing and selling to make a living and keep making the world go round as well.
So what does the rest of the season look like for you then, Piggy? What's on the calendar?
I finished now in the way of 3-day events and advanced competitions, and I've just got Osberton Young Horse Championships, where I think I've got a few 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds going for the end-of-year Young Horse Championships there, which is in 3 weeks' time. And so I'm just focusing on that at the moment, and we'll continue to just produce horses all through the winter to get going next year. And it's usually pretty busy through the winter, but it's just having a nice bit of downtime as well without competing every weekend to, spend time with Max at the same time as producing the next one.
Absolutely. And what about next year? Have you earmarked any big events then for the mare and for Quarry Crest Echo? What do you see in their future in the spring?
The mare I would love to take to Badminton. I think that would be plan A, definitely. And Quarry Crest Echo, I'm not sure where we'll take him next spring. I would love to have a go at some of these ERM classes because I think they would really suit him, and the prize money is very good, which will be, helpful for the owners as well. And but I won't step him up to 4-star, I don't think, next spring. I think he's still got a bit more maturing to do physically, and I think until he's done that, I won't aim him for 4 stars just yet. But hopefully, if they both just perform consistently and well in the spring next year, that either could get a shout for the World Games, hopefully later on in the year, which should be my dream aim.
That's the big aim. Okay. Well, obviously, having a child now and rebuilding it as you have to this level, Piggy, I'm curious if this has made you more competitive, or more ambitious, and now that you've had these results, now that you've come back to this level, how do you feel about your future?
I just want to really enjoy the sport. I love riding horses. I love horses. It's in my blood, and I felt at the end, the horses it's a very tough game on you mentally, this, and we all ride the waves in horse sports, and it's very, when you're flying, you're having a good time and it all happens very easy. But I had, a very low time for quite a while, and I actually find it very difficult mentally to really enjoy what I was doing. And I just felt in such a rut that the harder I was trying to get back up there, the more it wasn't really working. And I've just felt this year, having had a year off, I've come back into it refreshed. I don't think I've ridden any differently. I don't think I've ridden any better, to be honest. I've just tried to take a little bit of pressure on myself, tried to, stay realistic in the way, just enjoy it. You train hard at it, just get to the events and actually really enjoy my horses. Don't have quite as many as I used to, which I think also helps me. And just go and be as competitive as I can, which is natural to me. I am a competitive person, so if I feel I've put the work in with the training, then I love to go to a competition and feel like I can give it a really good go, but actually go and ride for people who really enjoy me riding their horses and ride the horses I love so much riding. And actually I've just been in a much better place from just being feeling more positive about it. And I just want to really keep training myself mentally to have this sort of attitude to it, and then I'll just accept, what will be, will be.
Do you do any fitness outside of riding, Piggy? We often hear of riders now that are taking up some cross-training to help with their riding. Do you buy into any of that? Do you find there's any difference since you've had a child?
Yes, I have had a personal trainer this year, which is the first time I've ever done that, and I will continue it definitely for as long as I'm eventing at top level, because I feel it's made a massive difference to me physically and mentally. And I was definitely, lost a lot of fitness after a year out and having Max, and I just feel that it's really improved me definitely with my riding. I don't feel at all puffed. I just feel very fit, and I used to ride an awful lot more than I ride now and never felt as fit as I do now. So I would definitely recommend it. And I'm not a fitness freak person either. I don't feel like I want to train to go and run really fast and run marathons or anything like that, but just once a week of a nice workout where you go running and do some hill sprints and just have someone there to help you. I have it free for all my staff if they want to join me or anything, and friends locally come and join me. So it's actually fun as well. I pay for the lady to come, and she does 45 minutes to an hour, and it's not fun at the time, but afterwards you feel good. So I'll definitely continue with it, and I would recommend it as well. I think it's really helped.
The Piggy French Fitness Club. Okay, give us a tip then for any riders that are listening, any young girls thinking, I want to grow up one day and be like Piggy French and as fit as she is now after having a child. So give us a fitness tip for them, Piggy.
Oh, a fitness tip. Oh, my word. You don't need to break any records. That's definitely one thing. I can assure you I do not run like Usain Bolt anywhere. But just pushing yourself out of your normal comfort zone just for a short period of time does seriously make a difference. And if you love living life, like love a pie and chips or a lager and lime every now and then, that sort of thing, then just a good little bit of healthy exercise every now and then really helps, just physically keeps you in shape so you can live a little as well.
Well, that's wonderful advice. So you don't have to give up the pie and chips or the lager and lime. We like that.
No, exactly. I'm not going to sit there and feel like I've got to be in the gym every day and I've got to only eat greens and that sort of thing. You know, it's finding a balance for everything. And like I say, we don't need to be as fit to go and run marathons and that sort of thing, but just a healthy bit of exercise once a week, as well as just staying active as we all are around horses in our daily lives, does just take you that much better off in your fitness and your shape.
Absolutely, and no guilt complex involved at all.
No, not at all.
You can go down the pub if you need to.
Absolutely.
Great advice, Piggy. Well, it's lovely to talk to you again, and obviously a fantastic result there at Burghley. Lots to look forward to with these young horses as well as those top two horses. So the very best of luck to you next season. Maybe we'll see you over here in Tryon. I'm not going to jinx you, but you're back in the selector's eye, and the very best of luck to you. I hope it goes well. Thanks for taking the time to come on the programme.
Thank you very much.
You'll find links to Piggy's website and her social media on our show notes at wispsports.com, where you'll find many more conversations from the world of women's sports, including over 700 podcasts and also blogs, articles and videos. That's all at wispsports.com. We're also on social media, where you can keep up with us at wispsports. If you'd like to reach us here directly, you can email us at info@wispsports.com. And when you're in iTunes downloading the podcast again, do leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it. I'm Chris Stafford, and until the next time, thank you for listening.